Hi everyone, today we're going to help you improve on Rainbow Six Siege by teaching you the basics of using Frost. We'll also show you a couple of tricks which will hopefully make you effective with her quicker. All this coming right up. Hi everyone, welcome back to Enough is Enough, Ace of Pyrite with you again today, and I'm very excited to introduce our new series here on the channel. We're doing an Operator 101, so it's just going to be sort of a reasonably in-depth guide to each operator, giving you an idea of the basics of how to use them, hopefully save you some time getting up to speed if you want to try somebody new. The first person that we're going to take a look at on this series is Frost. She's my main defender, so hopefully I'm reasonably well positioned to give you some advice on how to use her and cover the basics. The first thing we'll take a look at is Frost's bio screen. So you can see here she's from the Canadian CTU, which is called the Joint Task Force, the JTF. Frost is a 2-speed, 2-armour operator, so that leaves her quite flexible really in terms of, you know, you can do a bit of roaming with her. She's also tough enough to hold an objective as an anchor. Just gives you a little bit of flexibility in that play style as to how you choose to use her. She uses, her special gadget is a Sterling Mark II LHT mechanical trap, which she uses to incapacitate people. So basically you've got 3 of those, you pop them down behind windows, doors, anywhere that's a heavy footfall area, and hopefully it's sort of like a bear trap basically. People stand on it and it snaps shut on the leg, and that's going to be a down but not out, so they're going to need finishing off more than likely unless it's at the end of a round. We'll move on now to Frost's potential loadout. We are going to nip into a custom game and I'll give you a little bit more detail on what I choose to use with Frost, but just to give you a brief overview, she's got 2 primary weapon options. So she's got the Super 90 shotgun option, which isn't my personal favourite. I prefer to use rifles over the short distance shotguns. She has also got the option of using the 9mm C1, which is a submachine gun, an SMG, so that's my weapon of choice. On secondary, she's only got the one option, it's just a Mark 1 9mm pistol, and then in terms of gadgets, she has the option of a deployable shield or barbed wire. When choosing your loadout, it's worth considering how those gadgets will interact with the special gadget as well. Obviously, deployable shield and barbed wire both have options to be used in conjunction with the Frost trap, and that's something I'm going to look at in a little bit more detail very shortly when we get into the custom game. The last thing I'll cover while the gameplay runs is my particular loadout for Frost. I choose to use the 9mm C1. I go with the reflex sight, extended barrel and the angled grip. There's not an awful lot of choice in terms of attachments for Frost's weapon. Sights are literally down to red dot or reflex, so it's just your personal preference. The extended barrel gives a little bit of extra range on the damage for the weapon, as the damage drop off as stock is 15 meters, so it's quite a short range really. That extended barrel just helps to increase that, and it also helps just to manage the recoil a little bit. Angled grip gives you a quicker ADS. There is no foregrip option for Frost. As you're going to see, her recoil is quite low anyway, so I think a foregrip would probably make the rifle a little bit OP. But that's my standard layout, and as I say, we'll get into a custom game now and let's have a look at what the rifle actually does, and we'll also go over the special gadget and any tips and what not to do that I can come up with as well. The first thing we'll take a look at here is recoil on the gun. Really important to know what your weapon's going to do when you fire it so that you can aim accordingly. So if we have a look at this wall first, we can just do a short burst fire there, and we're going to see that there really isn't very much recoil at all. As I was saying earlier on Frost's rifle, it is really good for that. The damage drop off is just quite short to sort of allow for that. Now if we have a look at this taller wall section, I'll do a full auto magazine. And you're going to see, like I say, it's a really good idea to get in a game and do this once you've got your final setup chosen, because then you know what's going to happen. So you know every time you fire that gun on full auto, you're going to be going up and to the left, so you can account for that in your aiming. So moving out onto the shooting range, I just want to give you a good visualisation of that damage drop off. 15 meters plus some for the extended barrel. We've got X out there at 12 meters, and what we're going to do is just take a few shots at him and it'll give you a good idea of the impact that you're going to have. So He's on Ash, so he's a 1-speed operator, and that first shot is going to hit him for 42 hit points. So that's within your first 15 meters, plus or minus. So it's a 3-shot kill, as you've seen there. So we've moved X a little bit further back there now. He's still on Ash, still 1 armor, and he's out at 23 meters, so he's back beyond that damage drop off. And we're going to give him a shot there, and that's going to take 30 health off him. So now you can see we're on a 3rd shot. It's 4 shots to kill. The reason that I wanted to do that is just to give you a good visualization when you're playing Frost what that distance looks like, rather than just having 15 meters in your head. I've put up through the process of doing that on the top of the screen there. I was just listing the damage at each distance for different armor operators. So, for example, if you're looking out of a window and you see Ash, you know she's going to be over that 15 meter distance. So it just gives you a rough idea of what you're hitting them for each time. So then you can give a good call out to your teammate to say Ash is under half health, because you know you've hit her 3 times over your damage drop off distance. Next up, we're going to take a look at Frost's mechanical trap. Really simple to operate. You just press your special gadget button, whichever that is on your console or PC, and it's going to place it down on the ground. That's basically as technical as it gets. If somebody walks over any part of that, then it's going to snapshot on the leg. It'll create a down but not out, but it won't kill them immediately. You may need to go and finish them off. So obviously it's a little bit of a tricky game here. It's about being sneaky, it's about disguising those traps. One thing you can do is to put it, I usually go for about 60-65% of the door frame. So as you can see, coming from an angle there with an ADS maybe, just makes it that little bit more difficult to see, rather than putting it very obviously across the whole of the door frame or window frame. It's just about thinking where those high footfall areas are and how you can combine your traps with your other gadgets to maybe disguise them a little bit more. So here, my gadget of choice is generally barbed wire, because it's very useful. If you've watched any Pro League, you'll see that they use it a lot. But it's also useful to be able to pop on top of a trap if you're having to put one in sort of an open area, rather than disguising it with a doorway or door frame or something like that. It just gives another option. It's like a portable concealment then. Really good as a good example of not being able to conceal them any other way is putting them under hatches. So you pop your barbed wire down on top, and it's just going to give you that little bit of extra. You're not going to make these traps impossible to see, you're not going to make them invisible, but it just gives you that little bit extra percentage chance of the enemy dropping into it. I'm also just going to demonstrate now how well it combines with the deployable shield as well. If you block a doorway like that, you can just then get right up behind it, pop your trap down, just nudge forward, get it as close as you can, and you pop it down there, and it's just making it a lot less visible, and the enemy doesn't have a choice of shooting that out potentially. You know, yes, they can shoot the ground as they go over, it's not impossible, but again, it's just about all those sort of marginal gains, just increasing that percentage chance of them going into that trap. So if I budget over on the door frame, as I'd sort of, normally recommend, maybe 60-65% showing, you can see you've got to come out to a really wide angle before you can see that. Now, frost traps, you've got to remember, come into their own in the last 30 seconds of a round. When somebody's bursting into an objective over a deployable shield, they're going to go straight into that trap because it's not what they're focusing on. The last section of these guides is going to focus on answering any questions that you might have, or that maybe I've had previously and had to figure out myself, and also maybe debunking any myths. So we've got X with us again, just popped in to try and scare us there, and we're going to put a trap down, and we're going to see exactly how close you need to get to this trap to trigger it. Do you need to go over the centre plate, or is it anything as a touch is good enough? So X is going to rotate around, he's going to try and get as close as he can, and as you can see there, he's triggered it without even getting all the way around the map trying to avoid it. So if we watch from the top down view here, you can see it is literally a pixel touch on that corner, and that's it, he's trapped. Now I can't think of anything else that's ever particularly puzzled me with the frost maps. They are quite simple to operate. One of those operators that you just need to go and have a go with, put some traps down, see what works, see what doesn't. It does take a little bit of map knowledge, and that's something that we're going to help you with. Obviously we've got the layout videos and everything there that you can learn from. We're also going to be taking a much more in-depth look at the maps and how each operator interacts with them. So keep your eyes out, that video will be coming soon, and that's going to help you be even more effective with frost. One other thing that we did say we would cover in these videos is anything that's going to cause a problem for your teammates, any what not to do's. With frost, there really isn't any, because your teammates aren't going to get caught in the traps. There's no bad place to put them, there's no real problem. you can just pop them down anywhere and see what happens. The only thing I would say is be careful about putting them across the threshold of doors, because it will stop you barricading the door if you put it too far forward. So just keep it behind that threshold line, and then you're not going to frustrate your teammates when they can't barricade a door. And that's all that we've got for you as part of the Frost Guide. If you've got any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Put them down in the comments section below. We always try to interact and respond to everything that we get asked. And you know, if you've got any pointers for Frost, if you're a Frost main, give us a shout. Any particular good places for traps, any good ways of disguising them, let us know and we'll have a look at that. Maybe update the video if it's, you know, something that's really worthwhile and could help everybody. Other than that, thanks so much for watching again. The support that we've had recently has been amazing. We're hoping that this new series is going to be a bit more helpful, maybe for the people with a little bit more experience who've joined us. The subs keep growing every day. If you're not already subscribed, we would ask you, please hit like, please hit subscribe, tap that little bell so that you get all the notifications from us, and come and join us on a Monday night, 8:30 GMT for Monday Gun Day. We have a lot of fun, and hopefully we can entertain you with some gameplay as well and show you what we've learned and point out anything that maybe you can pick up. So once again, thanks for watching. We hope you've seen something that's going to help you say enough is enough, stop being that easy kill, and we'll see you next time.